Hi guys, in this opportunity I'm going to talk about grammar tips. Some grammar tips that you can use are taking into account in your exam. So the idea is that you remember that grammar is very important in English because grammar are the different rules about how to speak and write in a language, and it's very important that we use the correct rules. For example, we have in this slide we have three sentences, and I wanted to identify some of the grammar rules that you had learned in your during your school time. And the number one is I live in Thailand and he lives in Thailand. Number two, I like eating pizza. And number three, be quiet. You should pay attention at the school. Okay? So pay attention to those sentences and give me write in your English portfolio what rules what rules are represented in these sentences. Okay, so grammar rules are different ways that you can apply in sentences, you can find in sentences. For example, number one is a complete sentence must include a noun and a verb. All sentences have at least a subject and verb. At least. For example, the beer flew. That is a sentence that is organized with the article, with the noun, and a verb. Okay? Number two, a complete sentence must include a subject and a predicate. Predicate is like the complement. A complete sentence must include a subject and a predicate. The angry bird flew quickly across the sky. So we have a complement. Not only the angry bird flew, but quickly, the way quickly across the sky. Number three, the only exceptions to the above rule is the imperative sentence. Go away, do homework. Those are imperatives. Imperatives are short sentences that indicate orders. In this case, we don't have subject or noun. The sentence starts with the verb. Go away, do exercise, stop smoking. Those are examples of imperatives. Adjectives can go directly before the noun they describe or after it is separated by a verb. Let me show you some examples. The angry bird flew. The bird is angry. So, adjectives describe nouns, and these adjectives can go before, as in this case, before the noun. Angry bird, beautiful house. Yes, before the noun, and sometimes we can use the adjectives after the noun. The bird is angry. The house is black. Yes, but separated with a verb. Adjectives are words that describe nouns. Always they describe nouns. You see here, Tina is angry, something scary. So we have different kind of adjectives in English. Hot, yellow, or the colors are adjectives. Young, comfortable, pretty, happy, British, big, small, brown. Yes, we have different kind of adjectives. Number five, nouns. What about nouns? In English, we have different kind of nouns. Common nouns, proper nouns, countable nouns, uncountable nouns, singular and plural nouns. In this case, we have some examples of each one of them. But it's very important that you remember that common nouns are not specific. For example, man, city, religion. in general. Proper nouns are related to specific places, specific people. Albert Einstein, London is about cities and a specific place. Countable noun is nouns that can be counted. For example, pencils, apples, and whatever. Things that you can count. Uncountable nouns cannot be counted. Those kind of nouns, for example, meal, music, food, hug, rice, things that you can count. Singular noun refers to one person, place, or idea. One, cat, dog, monkey, student, and plural refers to more than one person, students, cats, dogs, that is plural. But in English we have some irregular plural nouns. For example, if you refer to a person, the singular noun is person, but the plural is people. Sometimes students have the mistake to add s to represent the plural. For example, dog, dogs. In this case, it's correct. But for example, for people, yes, when we talk about one person, you write person. But when you are talking about many, you can use people. Or for example, child. If it's one, it is one, so you have to use child. But the plural is children, not child with a. Okay? So in this table, in this chart, we have different irregular plural nouns that you can use. You can remember and learn what is the plural, but don't put the s to make the plural. Okay? Contractions. In English, we have different contractions. For example, to be the verb to be, we use I'm, your, his, she's, is, were. In negatives, it's the same. Isn't, aren't, wasn't, weren't. So the idea is that you have to remember that contractions use an apostrophe and you have to use it in a correct way. In the verb do, don't, doesn't, didn't, I've, you, his, she's, is. Okay, and with modal verb we usually use contractions. Can, couldn't, should, they'll, I'll. Okay. Prepositions. It's very important to remember that we have these kind of prepositions in English, and it's very common that you find them in the exam. At, in, on. You have to remember in what cases you can use them. Time, we use when we talk about time, and location. Yes. We use in when we talk about in general. For example, centuries, years, months, weeks. We use on to talk about time, but more specific. For example, days. And we use at when we talk about hours. At 7 a.m. Yes. And when we talk about locations, we use in with bigger locations. For example, country, neighborhood, city. On with the smaller locations. Streets, avenues. And at with a very specific. The store, Adidas store, at Adidas store, at 730 for Oxford Street, when we talk about address, specific locations. So the idea is you can remember this kind of rules to be getting ready for English. Verb patterns. We have a lot of grammar and tips to take into account when we see in sentences different verbs. Helen decides to go out with Michelle. I want to work with Dr. Lewer. when we use verb, to, and verb. Yes, when we talk about verb plus verb, the second verb is with ing form. For example, I enjoy working with you. She likes cooking. When we have two different verbs, the second verb is with the ing form. Verb, preposition, verb, ing. When we have in the sentence this structure, for example, PC thinks about studying English. When we have a preposition, the next word is a verb. This verb comes with ing. He specializes in teaching. We have preposition, and after the preposition, the verb is with ing. Okay, so those are verb patterns. Number 9, modal verbs. In English we use different modal verbs. Can, may, must, shall, will, ought, need, have, should, would, used to. We use different modal verbs. The idea is that you follow these rules. They can follow by a verb in the base form. After the modal verb, another verb is in the base form, in the infinitive form without to. I can run. They are the same for all the pronouns. The same. We use can, may with all pronouns. She, he, we, they. They do not need auxiliaries. Yes, they take direct negative and question form. With modal verb, you don't use auxiliary verbs like do, does, no, because you can form the negatives with themselves. You can smoke here. Can you repeat that? In negatives and in questions. They never combine with another modal verbs. You can combine two different modal verbs in a single sentence. Okay? Number 10, articles. What about articles? In English, we have these, three types of articles: a and the. Use the correct form. Article must adjective or noun. The smallest house. We use articles when we talk about adjectives or nouns. Use a and for not specific nouns. Not specific nouns, a friend, an answer, a book. And we have, in this case, we have another rule. When the word starts with a vowel, for example, answer, we use N. Use the for specific individual nouns. For specific nouns, for example, the British Prime Minister, the car you ride. For specific, you can use this. Use a before a consonant sound. A camera, a big apartment, a red box. Use and before a vowel sound. As I said before, when we use epic is a vowel, so the idea is to use an epic. An honest man, not only start with the vowel, but also the sound, the pronunciation. When the pronunciation start with a vowel, you can use an. Omit articles for places and nationalities. When we talk about places and nationalities, you can omit articles. Those are rules for the correct use of this kind of articles. And now, I want that you do this exercise in your portfolio. Identify at least one of grammar rules that you can learn during your school time. What grammar rules can you identify in these sentences? Okay, let me help you. I live in Thailand and he lives in Thailand. In this sentence, we have present simple grammar rule, because for the verbs, when we use I, we, they, the first person, you can use the verb, the normal verb, live. But when we use third person, she, he, it, you have to add this rule. The second sentence, I like eating pizza. In this case, we have two different verbs. I like, remember, the second verb goes to the ing form. I like eating pizza. And finally, the sentence number 3. Be quiet. You should pay attention at school. In this case, we have an infinitive, be quiet. It's an order, be quiet. The rule is that infinitives don't have nouns, only the verb, be quiet. Okay? And the second part of the sentence has this rule. You should pay attention. Should is a modal verb. The rule here is when you use modal verb, the another verb is in the infinitive form without to. Should pay. And finally, at. We use preposition at for a specific location, for a specific places, a school, at a school. Okay? So, in the 3 sentences, we have different grammar rules. The idea is when you are in your English exam, you have to remember all of these grammar tips to apply them in your activities, in your questions. Okay? So guys, that's all for today. See you at class. Bye bye.